managerial accounting regression method of separating mixed costs. Well, we're back to our example 1 data, and of course we've used it for the high and low method, as you've seen. And one thing that I've added to the data is column headings and row numbers, as though this were an Excel spreadsheet. Regression is very easy to do using Excel, and your textbook has a description of the exact formulas that you need to use in Excel to be able to run regression and get the statistics that you need to get. So that's what the cell references are for those formulas. And you see that my data, both the month, the pounds, and the shipping cost, are in columns A through C and rows 6 through 11. And B and C, 6 through 11, would be the cell references that you would use in the formulas that are described in your textbook if you were doing the Excel for this set of data. Now, I've already set up the spreadsheet and I've already run regression on that data, and here is an example of the printout. And you may actually need to enlarge this to full screen to be able to see this. This is as large as I could get the printout to be. What we've got, what I ask Excel to do for me, is to calculate from that 6 months worth of data the intercept, and remember that the intercept is my fixed cost, my total fixed cost in my cost formula. The slope, which remember is the estimated variable cost per unit, plus I ask it for one statistic, R squared, which is the coefficient of correlation. And this information is going to give me a little bit different results than what I got in the using the high-low method. Let's see what we've got here. On my regression results, the total fixed cost or the intercept is $101. 101. Now the dollar signs aren't on the regression output, but I know we're talking about costs, so my costs are stated in terms of dollars. Under high-low method, I think we got 110. So we can already see that we get slightly different results when we use regression, because regression uses all of the available data. The slope of the line, my estimated variable cost per unit, is 18 cents. So my variable cost per our activity measure for this data is pounds, so per pound is 18 cents. So my total cost formula using regression results, my total shipping cost, is going to be equal to a fixed cost of $101 plus a variable cost per pound of 18 cents times however many pounds I want to use within the relevant range to estimate my shipping cost. Now again, that's different from what we got under the high-low method. Now the next thing that I want to know, and this is where regression is really, really valuable to us, is, well, how good is this formula? How close to being correct will estimates of cost be if I use this formula? And to answer that question, I need to look at this statistic called the R square. And R square ranges from 0 to 1. And the closer to 1, the better the fit. R square is a goodness of fit measure. How well does this predictor, pounds shipped, predict my total mixed cost? And in this case, my R square is 0.98, 98%. Well, that's very, very close to 1, certainly much closer to 1 than it is to 0. So that tells me I've got a pretty good fit. A very good fit, as a matter of fact. Because if it were much closer, it would be 100%. So this is an excellent predictor. In the real world, if we can get 98%, we just woohoo! It's an exciting time for us. Now, how do we interpret that R-square of 98%? Well, what that tells us is that the change in activity, and for us activity is number of pounds, explains, notice we don't say cause because we're not really sure if it's the causal factor or not, but it explains 98% of the change in total shipping costs. So again, since R-square ranges from 0, change in pounds explains 0% of change in fixed costs, to 1 or 100%, 98% change, explanation of change is a very, very good fit. And that's the value of using regression. Two values. We use all the available data, so we have greater mathematical accuracy as a result of using all the data, and with regression we can get goodness of fit statistics that tells us whether pounds shipped is a reasonable predictor of my total shipping costs, whether this formula fits the data or not.